Hi, I'm Curious Vedanth and welcome to my podcast. The last few episodes have been about engineers and problems they solve. Today, we are starting a series on artists and designers. My first artist guest is B R Rajeev, my uncle, who is a computer graphics or CG supervisor at Pixomondo in Beijing. Previously, he was also part of the team that won the prestigious Emmy Award and was individually nominated twice for the VES Awards. Hi Rajiv, welcome to my show.
It's great to be on your show, and I must congratulate you for keeping on the effort to, keep going on and making so many podcasts. And it's really nice to hear you talk to people. I hope you are enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm
Yep.
curious to know what is animation?
Animation, in simple terms, is anything that moves. Like anything that moves, you call it's pretty much anything that has life to it. In simple terms, that's what you can call animation as. And but in terms of what we do on the computers, it is something. It is like a digital representation of what you would see around you. Like people walk, or people perform certain actions. Cars move, plants sway. So every little thing that moves can be created digitally, and that's what we create on the computer. And when I mean digitally, it means that we do it on a computer, and hence it's called CG, computer generated.
Interesting, very interesting. What are the different types of animation?
Animation can be broadly classified into two uh, two separate categories. One is 2D and one is 3D. 2D animation is what you see in, for example, Tom and Jerry and Mickey Mouse. And those were that's how traditionally animation started, wherein people used to draw frames out and then color it. So frame is every image that they draw is called a frame. And so that's how it used to be done back in the day. Then technologies improved, and even 2D animation, the way they did it, improved. But then came computers that could, manage a lot more data and process things faster, and that's when started. That's what started 3D animation. 3D animation is something that is done completely in the on the computer, and the major difference that you would see in a 2D and a 3D animation is the visual quality of it, apart from how it is done. So 2D does not have inherent depth in it, but 3D would have depth in it. Basically, you don't have to cheat it.
The D in 2D and 3D. What does it
Mhm.
stand for?
2D is two dimensions and 3D is three dimensions. So 2D is more of, if you have to put it in axes, it's X and Y, and in 3D you have X, Y, and Z.
What does dimension mean?
So anything that you see on a paper is, you can call it as a 2D. It doesn't have a depth to it, but something that has more depth to it that you see around is called more of, that has more of a dimension. So basically, it's a measurable unit, such as length, breadth, or depth. If you take a piece of paper, that would have just length and breadth. If you take a box, it has length, breadth, and depth. So the same logic applies to 2D animation, where everything is just moving in, let's say it's just moving in length and breadth. But in 3D animation, it has length, breadth, and depth. So now 3D also can be uh, taken a step further, where you can have one image for every eye. That's what you wear those glasses for, right? So that is also called 3D, but it's also called stereo. So stereo is basically your uh, showing one image to the left eye and a little image that is slightly offset to the right eye. So that's also called 3D, and that's what you go see in cinemas, where you wear those stereoscopic glasses.
In a few glasses in the cinema, I've seen
Mhm.
that one side is blue and the other side is red. Why is it
Yeah.
like that?
So those kind of glasses are called anaglyph glasses. Yeah. So again, basically, in very simple terms, that is just to differentiate what goes into the left eye and what goes into the right eye. So in the real world, the one of the main reasons why you see depth is because your eyes are offset. I mean, there is the nose between the eye, so your left eye doesn't exactly see what your right eye sees. There is a little bit of a change. I mean, you can do that by shutting one eye and seeing. So that's what creates depth, right? And that's the same kind of logic that people try and apply in the theaters when they show you movies that are stereoscopic. So that's why when they try to do it, it's more to, recreate that offset between both the eyes. So both the eyes don't see the same image, but they see a slightly different offset image.
Where all is animation used?
Animation is used in many, many places. It is used in films, it is used in educational videos. It's also used in architecture. It is used in, a more technical way of using animation or 3D can also be in visualization, which is to show, for example, architecture. You can show product videos. You can show mechanical parts being assembled in a machine. So it has various uses. Apart from that, I think it's also gaining a lot of popularity it has been always there in theme parks where you kind of create these animated images so that people kind of get completely immersed into the action around them. It's also gaining a lot of potential in, augmented reality and virtual reality, wherein you wear those um, glasses and then VR glasses, and then you are virtually in a different place. I mean, you're, um, able to see and you're completely able to immerse yourself in a different place.
I've seen people play on virtual reality, like play
Mhm.
games with those glasses, but I've never done it before.
It is good fun, but it can also get quite strenuous because usually our eyes are not used to being. Um, you can do it for some time, but doing it for a prolonged period is not really. Um, again, it depends on person to person, but it doesn't really feel that comfortable. But it does. It's an experience.
I have watched many movies and cartoons where there are real people acting and there are many animated characters. How is it
Mhm.
all brought together into the movie?
So basically, the way they do it is they shoot whatever has to be shot in real. And for example, if there is an actor that is talking to an animated character on the set, they would use a dummy. A dummy is something that is just a placeholder for him to look at, and basically he's not seeing the character or he's not seeing the animated character on set. All that he is doing is imagining that there is going to be someone there, and for him to imagine they for him to make sure that what he's at least he's looking at, where the character is standing, they use a placeholder. So all this is shot, and then that is got into people like us who then animate this character and make sure that we make sure that this character that is going into the real scene is uh, made. We try to blend it better. We also try and make sure that it fits into the scene a lot better so that people when they're looking at it don't really realize if it is was shot in the scene or if it was computer generated. Of course, if for example if a guy is talking to a talking dog, you know that the dog cannot talk, but then it is just to make sure that this CG character that we are adding in fits a lot more better into the scene. There are a lot of techniques which kind of help us uh, do our jobs better, and those are some things that we also try to do on the shoot, like for example the placeholder I just said.
What does a placeholder do?
A placeholder, for example, if you are sitting and talking to, say, you want to talk to Mickey Mouse, right? Mickey Mouse doesn't exist, but you are sitting on a chair, and on another chair there is supposedly Mickey Mouse that has to sit. Now, how would you, as an actor, know where to see, right? So, what would be done on set? So, when I say on set is something that where the shooting takes place, where they have the camera, where they have the actor, where they have the lights. So, that's what a set is. When you're sitting on a chair and wanting to interview Mickey Mouse, for you to know where Mickey Mouse is, we have to place something on the other chair, right? Otherwise, you would never know where Mickey Mouse is. Mickey Mouse can be sitting below the chair. You don't know how tall he is, how short he is. You don't know. So for you to make sure, I mean, for you to interact or at least look at Mickey Mouse, this imaginary Mickey Mouse, we put a dummy there, like anything. It could be uh, like a little doll of Mickey Mouse. It could be something that you look at so that you feel that you're actually talking to him. So that is a placeholder or a dummy. And once that is shot, in the computer, we remove this placeholder Mickey Mouse and put the animated Mickey Mouse.
Is the voice of the animated Mickey Mouse a real person or is it computer generated?
No, the voice of all of the characters that you see in animated films is a real person. In fact, there are a lot of times when famous actors give lend their voices to these characters. So it is a big thing, and I think in a lot of cases, um, the way the actor speaks and the way the actor acts kind of comes onto the animated character as well.
In movies like Jungle Book, Jurassic Park, and many more, I used to think that the animals and forests were real. I was super surprised to know that those were computer generated. How do you make it so real?
I think there are a couple of things that help us make it so real. I mean, one is the tools that we use. There are a lot more options that enable us to make it look real. The second thing is the computers that we use are a lot more powerful than what it was, say, 10 to 15 years back. So we can generate a lot more complex scenes. Like, for example, if you were to create a forest around 15 years back, it would have been a really tough thing. I mean, people have done it, but it would have been really tough. But now, creating a forest is not so difficult because the computers have got so much more better. Apart from that, the people who work are experienced. I mean, they keep working on it every single day. So when you keep working on this same thing every single day, you get better and better on it. So that's where experience comes from, and the a combination of all these three things makes the image look good.
How much experience do you have?
I've been working on this in this industry for around 18 years, 15 to 18 years. In those 18 years, I have done a little bit of gaming. I've worked on a few films. I worked on a few. I mean, when I worked on films, I worked on animated films. I worked on visual effects films. I also worked on theme parks. So, I mean, it's good fun to try out different things, and it's I'm happy to do it.
Wow, 18 years is a lot of years.
Yes, so long.
How is the voice made to match the lip movement and expression on the face of the talking characters?
Good question. So the people who bring these characters to life, that is, add in these expressions or add in the movement in the character, are called animators. So animators have a special skill that they really focus on uh, the human nature or the animal nature as to how does it behave, how does it walk, how does it run. So they literally focus on that. And again, like I said, because they keep doing it so much, they keep getting better and better. Now, the way they match is that, for example, if it is Shrek, right? Shrek was the voice of Shrek was given by an actor called Mike Myers. So um, when they are recording his voice, they usually also shoot him, like shoot a video of him. So that video provides us a reference for the animators. They look at the video and they kind of see what kind of an expression that the actor has and try to create the same thing in the computer. Apart from that, there are a few rules that animation generally has in terms of, like for example, like a few expressions, like, blowing a candle. So you would have a certain expression to blow a candle, and then you have certain phonemes. So these are a set of rules that they follow, as well as they look at the reference video of the actor that has been shot, and then they try to recreate the same thing in the computer.
How easy or hard is it to convert all of the stuff that the actor is doing?
It is time-taking for sure. I think one thing which is very common in all the people that I've met and very common in my industry is people just want to do it. So, it takes time. Like for example, if we were to do a full length feature film, it would easily take a, year or two, depending on I mean, it could take between anywhere between a year or two or even four sometimes, right from the time the story is being written and then the final release happens. So, yeah, that's about an average time it takes.
Can you name the movies or shows that you have worked on? Which is your favorite?
To name a few, I worked on Tinkerbell at the very beginning, and then I worked on Disney Planes. I mean, Tinkerbell and Planes, both of them are Disney's. Then I also worked on regular visual effects work for Tron. I worked for Game of Thrones and a few other theme parks. Theme parks in China. I worked on theme parks in South Korea. My favorite has to be Game of Thrones, because I mean, I personally enjoyed watching that show, and I mean, it was great to be a part of it.
I love all those movies.
Thank you.
What made you choose to be an animator? As a child, what did you want to be?
As a child, I always wanted to do something creative. I think that also came by because my dad is an architect. I I mean, and I knew that that was something that I was good at. I mean, I like to draw. I mean, I like drawing more than, studying or, going to a math class. So I kind of was inclined more towards doing something creative. And animation actually happened by accident. I had no plans actually to come into animation. I wanted to get into civil engineering or do architecture, but for many reasons that didn't happen. But then I joined a course that taught me website designing and multimedia. And towards the end of the course, I saw this. I mean, this software was that I started using in animation was part of my curriculum, and it was towards the end of my course. And when I first saw this, I was completely blown away because um, using this software, I could create anything that I want. So basically, I could create my own world. I could create literally whatever I wanted. I could create cars. I could create like a city, and that made me really, really, really attracted towards this because I could literally play God. um, and so that opened up this whole new door of getting into animation, and I think it has been a great journey.
What are your hobbies?
I mean, indoor hobbies mostly revolve around playing computer games and watching movies or TV shows. I also love photography and traveling and listening to music. When I was younger, I used to draw a lot. That's something that I've been trying to get back to, but let's see.
Even I like drawing, listening to music, and also playing video games.
Awesome. It's fun, no?
Yes, very fun.
Which game do you play now?
I play all sorts of games: education games, racing games, Lego games. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
No problem. It was great fun to be on the show, Vedant.
I enjoyed speaking to you a lot. Dear listeners, follow my Facebook page, Curious Vedanth, to get updates on the upcoming episodes. To listen at leisure on your phone and get notified about future episodes, subscribe by searching for Curious Vedanth wherever you get your podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can also listen to my show on curiousvedanth.com. Thank you for listening to Curious Vedanth.